It is time to figure out what in the world I'm reading in September. Literally tomorrow is the first day of school. So it feels very appropriate to be filming my September TBR right now. September is just like back to school month for me. A lot of people it's August. For me, it really starts to kick in September. So I am not planning anything super significant in September. I have my primary 4 challenges that I read for, and I've pretty much picked books for those. And then there are a couple of events that I want to participate in to one degree or another. But beyond that, I don't have specific plans. Sorry if you hear my son playing video games in the background. So first of all, for my Reading the Classics challenge, I was really torn between 2 options. I wanted to read another book by Edith Wharton, who I kind of had in mind when I made the challenge to read a book by a female author. But I actually did not get to O Pioneers for the Prairie Trail Readathon. And so I really want to read this as well. And this is actually on my 50 by 50. So I think I'm going to read O Pioneers by Willa, Cather, and that will satisfy that prompt. So I'm very excited to actually dig into that, knowing that it will be that the book for my Reading the Classics challenge will give me the motivation to read it and be able to cross that one off my list. For Alma's challenge, Journey Through Time, historical fiction, the prompt is anything to do with books or libraries or bookstores. And so this has been on my TBR for a while. The Personal Librarian, I've put it on my actual monthly TBR a couple of times, but always as like an option, never one of my main books. So it's bumping up to be a book that I will read. So The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. My sister read it and really enjoyed it. I've been to the Morgan Library, which is the library where this lady works, and she's the librarian at that library. And there was some information there about her. So my interest was piqued at that point in time, even more so than it already had been, but I still haven't read it. So this is the month I'm going to take the time to do that. And then for the Christian Fiction Bingo by Jane Reads, the dual prompts are transportation, so some kind of transportation on the cover, as well as being a book in a series. And I have one that may be a little bit of a stretch on both counts, but this is the perfect time for me to read it because I had this stack of 10 books that I need to read or get rid of in the year of 2026. And so far I have read none of them. So every month I've been like, but if I don't even try them, I'm going to have to get rid of them. I did really enjoy the last book I read by this author, Randy Alcorn, which was Safely Home. This is in a very different vein. This is Deadline. It is part of a duology, I think, because it says, look for Randy Alcorn's follow-up bestseller, Dominion. So I think it qualifies as part of a series if you can count a duology as part of a series. And it doesn't have an actual vehicle on the front, but obviously this is part of a vehicle. So it's meant to indicate a vehicle of some kind of transportation. So I'm going with this one. It will knock it off of my self-destructing stack and cross off that list for me. So I love it when I can do that. So with O Pioneers and with this one, crossing things off lists, it's just such a delicious sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. Then for the Read Your Bookshelf prompt, I had such trouble with this one because the prompt was animal, and I really didn't have any books with animals on the cover. I was looking everywhere on my shelves, and I came up with 2 sort of options. The first one is, this is a vintage copy of Black Sheep by Georgette Hare, which is a book by her I don't believe I've read. Always love a good Georgette Hare, so this would be a fun read. And there's not an actual sheep on there, because that's metaphorical, but sheep is an animal and it's in the title, so that would work. There's also this one that I picked up at a thrift store a long time ago, or a year or 2 ago, Death of a Dowager, the Jane Eyre Chronicles by Joanna, Campbell, Slan, and it is in a series of like mysteries based off the characters in Jane Eyre, or I don't know if the first one, this one is. I don't know if the first one in the series was the same. I think that's a unique idea. You know, people have done that with Jane Austen. I'd never heard of this series, saw it in a bookstore. I mean, a thrift store. And let's see, published in 2013. I mean, there may be a reason nobody's heard of it. It may be terrible, but it's worth giving it a try and seeing it if it's good. So those are my must reads. I'll decide at the last minute between Black Sheep and Death of a Dowager. So then for Shaketember, which is one of the events that I want to participate in, and I will put the links to all of the hosts for these various readathons that are happening in September in the description box. But I want to read Macbeth. This also is on my 50 by 50, and I have two copies. I have the No Fear Shakespeare and I have the Folger Library Shakespeare. I love the Folger Library editions. This is a vintage copy, but it's in pretty good condition. Very readable. I love these. I kind of want to try No Fear Shakespeare, which I never have before. So I'm wondering if I might try reading the No Fear Shakespeare first and then read this one if I feel up to doing both in the month of September, which, you know, things can go super haywire in September, so we don't know if that will happen. So that's why I'm not sure if I want to start with the No Fear Shakespeare, because I don't want to stop there. I want to read, like, it has the actual text and everything in it, but I kind of also want to read from this one. So still a little bit torn on that, but that's definitely an option. The other event that I do want to participate in, and I will be to at least one extent or another, that is Series September, hosted by Krista at Books and Jams and Sarah's Nightstand. And they have a lot of fantastic prompts, like a book with a young protagonist. Sorry, I'm reading from my notes. A series that's been lingering on your shelf for a really long time. These are all based on movie titles, by the way. 2 books from the same series, or read the second book in a series. Read from a series with more than 5 books in it. Read a book with strong friends or found family themes. Series with time travel. Set at a workplace, or a beloved series. So I am going to go with Wormwood Abbey because so many of my BookTube friends really love that series, and I've heard nothing but good things. So it is well beloved in the Christian BookTube community. And also, Sammy, as Sammy Reads, has organized a group buddy read of that. And so I am excited to read that one. And that will be a definite also because of the buddy read that I have committed to. So that will at least cross that off the series. And Deadline by Randy Alcorn, again, is part of a duology. I don't know if it will fit any of those prompts. So we'll see. It may not fit any of those prompts, but at least it's part of a series. And then again, The Death of a Dowager, that is part of a series. And it actually may be the second one in the series, because I think Death of a Schoolgirl was the first one in the series. So that might fit the prompt for second in a series. So I do have a couple of series here that I would be working from to go with that one. And then also for mood reading, once I finish these books I'm committed to, if I pick up anything, you know, just for mood reading, I will try to use these series ideas to guide me. And then also there's Shorty September. And the truth of the matter is, I feel like I don't have many books that are actually going to go with that. But let's see. They had a lot of fun prompts. I didn't write them all down, and so I'm not sure what I have that fits specifically with the prompts. But the goal is to read a book with 200 pages or less, or like between 200 and 250. So this one has 232, so technically Black Sheep would fit. Macbeth would definitely fit for that. Let's see. Death of a Dowager is almost 300, so that's not quite. Yeah, Deadline is going to be longer. That's 400 some. The Personal Librarian, 300 some. Oh, Pioneers might fit. Let's see, 159. So that one also fits. So I have a couple books that pass muster for Shorty September. And so I am participating, at least to some extent, in that one as well. And then I also did want to mention that Kaylee at Luminous Libro is, which this works really well with Shorty September. She is doing a 30 books in September challenge, like reading a book every day. And I just can't, not in September, just can't do it. But I think it's a really good idea. I love that she does that every year. And I think it's really cool. There's no way. Other months I maybe could. You know, if I have more time off, like November, or possibly December. And if I, you know, planned ahead and got, you know, like really short books, like did a lot of short ones, maybe I could. But I can't. But I love the idea. So we will read as much as we can in the spirit of that readathon. So that's it, guys. Short, sweet. That's all I have time for today. Tomorrow is the first day of school. So I'm going to wrap this up and get it uploaded, and I will see you next time. Let me know in the comments what you are reading in September. Which of these readathons or other readathons are you participating in? And let's chat. I'll see you next time. Bye.